Hey everyone, it's Lucas, aka Huntelsa. Today I wanted to go over the Frozen Rune Rogue Farm. For all you classic rogues out there looking to make a decent amount of gold. Um, this week I got semi okay luck and we capped out at 24, so not too bad, not too bad. Obviously you can get more if you get lucky enough. You can proc 6 runes per times 5, 30 per week if you get super lucky. On Fairlina, I know these runes are going for about 75 gold now per rune. So, uh, yeah, it's definitely worth it. The one thing that I want to stress and make sure that you guys buy 100% is the wards of thawing. Make sure you get the wards of thawing because you need the wards of thawing in order to take the frozen runes um, off of the walls inside of Nax. Okay, so make sure you get wards of thawing. If they're anywhere under 200 gold, it's going to be a good deal because you'll make plenty of your gold back. I promise you that. These things will be selling. People are going to want them for their mains, for the frost resist gear. They're going to want them for their alts for the frost resist gear once, you know, more and more guilds start to progress and get the content down. So make sure you're doing that. All right. Now, I wanted to kind of talk about my gear, show you guys the talents that I use, and what consumes you guys are going to want to bring as well for this farm. And then we'll get into some of the gameplay as well. I have that in the background going on. But as far as gear goes, you know, I don't really have anything too special. As you can see, unbuffed, I have 3.9k HP, which is a decent amount, right? I know a lot of alt rogues. You guys aren't really going to be gearing them too much. So I'm probably a little bit above average. So if you have 3.5k or above on your rogue, you're probably in a decent spot. But 3.9k has definitely saved me a couple of times, and I'll show you examples of that. Okay, but yeah, you know, nothing too special going on here. And one thing that I do want to stress though, as far as trinkets, if you can, um, Barov's Peasant Collar, if you can get your hands on this, which you should, it's really not that hard to get. Uh, do it. It'll make this so much easier for certain rune farms. Okay, especially in instructor's room. All right, now let's see here. Talents. Okay, first thing you're gonna want to do is put 5 into Master Deception. You're gonna need prep, right? But I'm just gonna show you the most important ones, then you can fill out the rest as you want, because really talents don't matter except for only a few of them. You're gonna want 5 in Master Deception, 5 in Camo, get that little bit of increased movement speed and stealth. That's pretty nice. Other than that, nothing really important. Just make sure you fill it out. Elusiveness 2 is also pretty nice in case you wipe a lot. You know, get the cooldown lower on your vanish. Super nice. So you can speed up your runs. So 5 master, 5 camo, 2 elusive. Then make sure you work your way down, grab prep, and then you're basically done here in sub, right? You don't need anything at all in Assass, so you're gonna want to come into combat, and I would 100% would recommend 5 into lightning reflexes. Make sure you get the dodge chance up as much as you can. Other than that, you work your way down, grab improved sprint 2, get endurance 2, the reductions. It's just nice. An improved sprint helps in case somehow a mob thunderclaps you, then you can get out of it. And yeah, that's basically it. I mean, those talents right there are really all you need. Prep 5, camouflage 5, elusiveness 2, prep, and then you go into lightning reflexes 5, improved sprint, endurance, everything else. Who cares, right? This is just a farm spec. Okay. Next thing you're gonna want to know about is consumes. As far as consumes go, when you're first starting this farm off, make sure you bring as much as you can to help yourself out. Give yourself as much time to practice this as possible. It really will come in handy. I bring about 15 lips, just just in case. You never know. Maybe it's an off day. 15 lips should be a safe bet. Greater nature protection potions. I highly recommend 1. Maybe bring 5 just in case, so you can practice doing some other strats that I'll show you later on. And then you're also going to need greater shadow protection potion. I normally only bring 1 of those because I've gotten really good at doing that part of the raid, but I would also recommend just bring 5 just in case. Give yourself as much wiggle room as possible. Outside of that, I think that's about it for consumes. You don't really need anything else other than lips, greater nature pots, and greater shadow pots. But yeah. Alright, now let's go into the wings here. So the first wing you're going to want to attempt, potentially, is the Plague Wing, because you're most likely going to want to get a lock to soulstone you for this wing. This wing, in my opinion, is the hardest to do if you don't have a soulstone. And I'll explain why as well. Mainly because what you want to do is you want to sneak past this bat once it starts patrolling back inside like this. Follow it, follow it, follow it. We'll bring up the speed a little bit. And then once it gets past you, you're going to want to unstealth, sprint, evasion, get past the first 2 mobs, get down the first flight of stairs if you can, and then lip. After you pull the second 2 mobs, you're going to want to vanish, prep, sprint, and then wait until you get around the corner, all the way around the corner, to vanish again and vanish clean. Also make sure you have a greater nature protection pot on for this, because this is where the poison is going to come into play, okay? So I'm going to slow it down here, back to normal. Alright, so we sprint, right? We're out of stealth, we're sprinting, we evasion, face the first one, make sure it doesn't hit us on the first swing. We turn around, make sure neither of them can hit us. We pop the lip once we land and get to these guys, right? As we come back down, we vanish. So I want to show you guys that again. And this is why we vanish, right? So these 2 gargoyles are going to be casting poison on us, okay? So you vanish here, and you see these two poisons hitting us. Our vanish makes sure that they don't land on us, right? We get down, we get hit by 1 poison, that's fine. We get hit by 3 more, that's fine, but we got around the corner, we got the second vanish off, and we're clean. Now, the reason why I soulstone here is because this one is really, really hard to do, and it's really hard to stay at 4 or 5 stacks. It has to be lined up perfectly, your vanish has to be really, really good, and you have to get the 2 resists off, otherwise you'll have 6 to 7 stacks and you'll die 100% of the time. So I always soulstone here, just in case. You know, I tip a warlock 10, 15 gold, 20 if I'm feeling generous that day. Just to get it out of the way, because remember, you'll make so much more gold from these runes that it's worth it, right? So just in case. And then if you have 4 or 5 stacks, that's great. You didn't need the soulstone. If you're at full health, even if you're at half health, you probably don't need the full the soulstone if you have the greater nature protection, because you'll start eating right away once you get around the corner in this vanish. And then, you know, here I'll show you the chunks, right? So it'll fall off, you start eating once it falls off, and just 4 stacks is ticking for 570. I think 5 stacks goes up to like 6 something, and then 6 stacks goes up to 7 something, and at that point it's just, you can't eat through it, right? So you need to make sure you have at least 4 or 5 stacks to make sure you get away with no soulstone here. Other than that, you know, let me speed it up a little bit. The rune can spawn over here, it can spawn over here, and it can spawn on this side of the room as well. Noth doesn't have that big of a radius when it comes to threat. Just make sure you're up against the wall, make sure he's padding on the other side of where you're at, and you'll be good to go. See, mine was up here to the left, I just walk back over, pick it up, no big deal. Alright. Now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the shades going into the Death Knight room. And this is like really important. This is the second hardest part of the entire raid for doing this run, in my opinion. I'm going to show you guys some good runs, some bad runs, some sketchy runs with these shades. You'll get the whole plethora, so you'll see what's going on here, right? Let me just all right, here we go. So the biggest thing about the shades is I make sure that I mark them, because you want to mark them so you can see where they're padding, right? I'll even come back a little bit. So I marked this one, skull. You can mark them however you want. There's this one, there's the one that pats all the way down and back around the room. So you really want to make sure you pay attention to this one and this one. Those are your two main. These two, you're really not going to worry about because you're going to be staying on the right side of the room anyway. So you wait for this guy to come back. I'm going to show you a couple of scuffed ones, and then I'll show you one where I die, where it was like really unlucky, but those things happen, right? And then I'll show you a really clean run as well. So this one, it went okay, but I ended up popping my lip too soon. I'll rewind that. So I run in, I lipped way before I got around this corner, right? I sprinted, came around, lips already falling off, and the Necro Knights flashed me back, right? So this is scary. So I ended up getting just far enough away where I took like 2 melees, I got the vanish off, and then I prepped, and then I vanished again. Oh, I actually didn't prep, wow. Okay, that was super lucky. That was an extremely lucky one, but we got by. Yeah, that was way too lucky. So you just want to make sure that shade is over there on that side of the room so you can scoop by. Everything's easy peasy. Now, another one that I wanted to show where I like barely got by, it's like way down here, but let's see. Okay, so we're waiting for the shade, Shade goes by. I'm like, okay, we're fine. So that's how you want to do it right there. You come out of stealth, you sprint, evasion, turn around, make sure they don't hit you. You lip right underneath the light right here. That's the best way you'll get over here. Come around the corner. The skeleton thunderclap me, right, which is the slow. So I vanished, prepped, and vanished again. This is the one where I prepped and vanished again just to make sure. So you can, as you can see, it gets really sketch. But make sure you don't panic. Make sure you use your cooldowns if you feel like you need to get by, and you'll definitely be okay. Alright, now another one that I wanted to show was one that like it went really well until it didn't. Like I thought it was such a good pull. I was like, okay, we lived easily here, right? That was not the case. It was just super unlucky. So we got the evasion off. We dodged one hit. We lipped. We had plenty of time. We got around the corner, right? Everything seems fine. We even still have lip on because we timed it really well. But let me just slow this down for you so you can see what could potentially happen here with these shades. So you vanish in the corner, right? They're all still running, but they reset. Unfortunately, for some reason, after I vanished, the shade came around the corner and then took a loop back around. And then saw me again as it was about to reset, and then got me back out of stealth and aggroed everything. So things like that can happen. Gets really unlucky. Make sure you don't, you know, freak out, yell, scream, start slamming your keyboard, because unfortunate situations like that do happen. And then I'll show you one where you don't even need to lip. This is as smooth as it gets. You don't need to lip, you don't need to do anything. Lip is just super nice if you're struggling with getting this, oh my god. How do I not remember the name? Distract. Getting your distract off. Sorry about that. Alright, let's see here. Where did I do it? It's like at 102, right? Okay. Here we go. So we're waiting for the pat. We see that this skull's coming in. I'm like, okay. We noticed that the X was also over there, but he's far enough down this way that I know I'll have enough time for him to go there and then pat back while the skull gets to its maximum point over here. So you'll see. We come out. This requires no lip, by the way. It's literally just a perfect time distract. If you do it right, you distract. He's facing that way. You get around the captain. You wait for this shade to pat back. Once it's at about here at the anvil, you can sneak into this position because then your distract is going to come off cooldown, right? And you don't want the other shade to see you. This shade will get a little past the anvil and you start working your way in and just moving your way down smoothly. Alright, let me speed it up a little bit for you here. So you're going to want to get to this pack, distract him, get by him, always distract that pack, otherwise you will get found. You're going to come down. Whoops. You'll see the horses. Make sure you don't get the horses or anything like that. Now I want to show you some rune spots. So one rune can spawn on this wall if you're really lucky. That's the luckiest spot. Another rune will spawn right here. Another rune will spawn right here. They're literally right on top of the corners. And you can stealth on top of the corners, unstealth. Everything will freeze and look at you, but you'll be fine for like 5 seconds. You'll have plenty of time to get the runes and vanish, okay? Other than that, you have unlucky spots. Like right here, and right here. Mine was an unlucky spot, and it's right there, as you can see. We're gonna skip Instructor, though, and go straight into Gothic. Because since it's in an unlucky spot, I always try to do Gothic first because I'm more comfortable getting Gothic down rather than rather than having to struggle with Instructor for a little bit. So you're gonna want to make sure that you pop your Shadow Protection Pod after you come over here. You can sit in a corner, pop your Shadow Protection Pod, nothing can get to you, and you'll be fine. Wait 2 minutes because you're gonna need lip for Gothic. So for Gothic, it ended up being the first one that I did this week. You come around, make sure Instructor Resuvius is over here by this guy when you come into the room. That way you don't aggro him at all. He does have a pretty big terror radius, and he will see you in stealth if you don't sneak by properly. These things, they don't really see you that well. I did panic a little bit here because I was like, wow, I've never seen the staffs get this close to the wall before. So I just let them do their thing. Then I ended up distracting them because, I just wanted to play it safe. Bounce up, come across the line, get up here. You don't have to do all this, but I just do it just to be safe, because the swords and the other stabs pat right there, as you can see. If you get stuck, don't panic. You'll be fine. Just get over it, and then you can sit here in the corner, and you're basically safe. So here's the shade that you want to worry about, and here's the 2 pats that you want to worry about. And these guys are why you need a lip and why you need a shadow protection, because the shade will cast a shadow bolt on you, and these guys will give you a corruption dot. So you need to make sure you pay attention for that. Go ahead and mark them here. We'll fast forward a little bit. I'll come up into the area right here before the shade detects me, because you don't want the shade to detect me. You don't want to get too close to it. Don't play games here. You wait for these guys to pat all the way back, and when you wait for them to pat back, this is the best time for you to go. So you're gonna want to unstealth, sprint, and then once you get to about the corner here, you're gonna lip, okay? And then you'll negate all the melee attacks from all the guys, and you'll be fine. It'll be a straight shot right to the end. One thing you can do as well, though, is once you get past this corner, you vanish, so that way you can try to avoid any extra dots or shadow bolts on you. And then you can prep, and then you get back to the corner again and vanish once you're around the furthest corner. And I'll show you. So you come here, you sprint, you unstealth, you sprint, get to the corner here, lip. You're gonna be faster than them, so it's no big deal. You vanish, prep, sprint again, come around the corner. Don't worry if the Necro Knights teleport to you, it's no big deal. Get around the corner, and then vanish, and you'll be good. And then inside this room, it'll spawn either here or on the other side of the wall. Mine was right here on this side. One thing I do want to point out though is, as you can see here, I come around and I stealth because this Spectre sometimes bugs out and it'll just be chilling there. And if you don't stealth past this way, or this way, depending on which way you go around the corner, the Spectre could see you and take you out of stealth. So make sure every time you go past this, make sure you just stealth and be smart about it, right? It'll be up against this wall or the other wall on the side. The boss won't aggro to you unless you hit it or get right next to it, so don't worry about it. It's a pretty easy frozen rune once you get into the room. Alright, after this, we're going to talk about Instructor, okay? So Instructor, let's see here. Instructor's kind of a hard one, but only if the frozen rune is in a wonky spot, okay? Now I'll tell you 2 ways to get the frozen rune if it's in a wonky spot. What you can do is you can get all the runes, clear it out, and then you could reset the instance by, you know, inviting another one of your alts and then resetting it from another one of your alts, because it'll take it into a new instance with another alt. And then potentially the rune could spawn in a better spot, like up here, or up there, right? But that's like only if you really need to, okay? This way, in my opinion, works so much better with Barovs, and you don't need to do the whole alt swapping thing and everything. So save your time, get Barovs, make it easier for yourself, and do this instead. So you'll get here, you'll get around the corner. You know, mine's over here on this wall. You'll do the same thing if it's on this wall, right? You'll stay on this side. You're gonna want to come out of stealth, sprint, and then get a little close to him. Pop Barovs. If it's over on this wall, you want to pop Barovs over here, and then vanish and come over to this side immediately. And if it's over on this one, you pop Barovs over here, and then go over there and, you know, get the rune. So if it's on this side, you want to make sure that Instructor is over by this guy, over by this knight, to give yourself the maximum amount of time to get over to the wall before Instructor kills all the Barovs guys. And if it's on this side, you want to make sure it gets over to the opposite guy to give yourself as much time as possible. So we unstealth, we sprint in, pop Barovs, vanish, get to the rune. You have plenty of time. They're fighting the Barovs. You get the Word of Thawing, and there you go. You will die, so if you want to, you can take off your gear, save yourself a little repair bill. But you know, it's either way, it doesn't really matter, right? You're gonna be making so much gold from this that who cares? Next thing we're gonna want to go over is the Spider Wing, and we did the Spider Wing right about here. All right, so we're coming in, get to the Spider Wing. This one's super easy, super easy. You might want a lip for this one, but it's not required, okay? I pop it every time just in case something goes wrong. But if you are trying to save gold and min-max your gold, you don't technically need a lip, right? So this pat, you want to make sure you don't pull it. It does come inside this room every now and then, so just make sure it's not padding inside the room. So you pull them. I end up coming over here, and this carrion spinner decided to get like too close to the wall, so I decided to take a step back, you know, play it safe, give it some time, turn around again. You walk past it, and this spider right here is the most important one. If it's further over to the other wall, you don't have to lip. If it's closer over here and you just want to get by real fast, open the door, you know, make sure you lip, okay? So you're gonna come over here, distract the spider. You're gonna open the door, lip and sprint, okay? Or you're just gonna open the door and sprint over to the side of the wall and then vanish. It's that simple. Open the door, sprint, vanish. And I'll even slow it down a little bit so you guys can see. And this is why you don't technically need a lip here, right? I opened the door, I sprinted, I'm this far away. This spider is not gonna hit me, right? But I lipped anyway, just because, you know, who cares? Something could have gone wrong. And then there you go. Inside a Nubricon's room, you can get lucky and have it spawn on this wall up close, or you could have it spawn on this wall up close. Other than that, it could spawn on the other side. And let me show you guys something over here. So a noob, how he works, if you pull him and vanish, he will vanish. So if the rune is over here, or like on the back side of the wall, make sure you do this trick. Make sure you get behind him, come out of stealth, hit him, vanish instantly, and then he'll just go away with the rest of his mobs, and you'll have ample time to get the rune that you need that's on the backhand side of the room, okay? Next thing we're going to want to talk about is the A-bomb wing. This wing is also super easy. You know, there are a couple spots where it could be a little difficult, but nothing you can't handle, I promise. So we're going to come over here, get to the A-bomb wing, stealth up. I'll show you one thing that happened to me this run, because I got impatient and I just wanted to go fast and I had, you know, extra lips. So, you know, you pay attention to that, Pat. Make sure you stay alongside the wall, on the left-hand side going in. Don't pull any of the belchers or anything like that, obviously. But there's always another one that tends to pat in here. And I'll show you something real quick. Let's go back real quick, actually. So we're in this room, and in this room, what you notice is there are only 2 patrols, right? But there was another one going back into this room when I first came in. I didn't pay attention to that at first, so I wasn't sure where that patrol was when I did this run. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go in, we'll see where it is, maybe I can just vanish it off and it'll be fine. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come around the corner, come out of stealth, and sprint. And stay along the left-hand side here, because these slimes will one-shot you. And they will pull you every single time, okay? So you're going to come out of here, come out of stealth, sprint. And this is where it went a little crazy, because I was like, oh, he's right there in my face. Don't worry, this is why you bring extra lips, just in case if you get impatient or, you know, anything like this happens, you just lip. Come around the corner, vanish, and you're in the clear. Okay? This room, there are multiple spawn points all along the edges. So there's one like here, 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 and then like 2 more along the other side of the room, right? Mine ended up being right here. So you have to make sure that patchwork is padded pretty far. You don't have any of these A-bombs near you, and you want to stay on the left-hand side of it, because you don't want to aggro a slime and blow yourself up, right? The hardest one, though, is if it's over here in the corner. This hasn't happened to me, but I've heard about it, so I really want it to happen to me so I can experience it and test it out. I did do one test where, you know, I used the Barovs like over here, so everything got pulled over here, and then I tried to run over here and see if I had enough time on a timer to potentially get it off. I don't know if that would 100% work, but I think that might be your best bet. If you really want to min-max it, you would Barovs, You know, if you're an engineer, use your robot, your chicken, and then if you really wanted to, you could use a oh man, a target dummy. You could use a target dummy. Sorry about that. I brain farted really hard right there. But I mean, at that point, it's really not worth it. If you wanted it, like if it's over in this corner, you don't have bear offs, and you're like, oh man, what do I do? I can't get it because it always aggroes the mobs. Um, I would highly recommend using the trick where, you know, you alt swap. You get another alt in the group that you don't care about running Nax on. It could be any level, 1 to 60, and you just reset the instance. Once you reset the instance, the rune inside this room will spawn in a new position, hopefully, and you'll be able to easily get that. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me and, you know, seeing the tactics for getting these frozen runes. I wish you all the best of luck in getting all 5 of yours, and I hope all of you rogues make some good change while you can, okay? Thank you all again. Leave a like and comment if you'd like. Really just leave a comment. Let me know if there's anything I can improve on, anything more you guys need to know. Ask me any questions you want. I'd love to answer any of them. But yeah, thank you all again. I really do appreciate it. But I'm out for now. Take care. Deuces, y'all.